Hi there, I'm here at Miami Industrial Arts today. We're starting our class, but I'm doing a little demo and I wanted to record this and try to post it. So I have my helper Ella here who's going to record and we'll try it out. Okay, so I'm going to start out now just throwing a simple cylinder, and Ella wants to learn about lids, so I'm going to make a little receiver for the lid there today. So I'm going to start out with that. Thanks. And she's going to come around so you guys can see from the direction that I view the wheel from. Okay, so I've already put my piece of clay down. I'm going to start to center now. And so I'm going to bring the clay up, just squeezing. I want to have a little ball here that I'm getting under with this part of my hand. I bring it up, and then I'm going to push that back down. And that helps me center the entire piece of clay. So you may have to do that 2 or 3 times to get your clay centered. It seems pretty centered now for me. Also, you don't have to be super centered. This is what I would call centered enough. So now I'm going to start to open, and generally when I open, I'm going to use this part of my thumb here, and this is what I call finding the center. And so I have a little divot there now, and I use my sponge a lot, but I'm going to switch my hands. I'm going to give it a little water so I have some lubrication. I'm going to switch my hands like this. I keep this thumb down at the base so I know where the bottom is, and then I'm going to go down with my fingers so my 2 hands are working together. You can hear the train in the background passing by. So now I've opened and pulled out my bottom. You can get a little shot of that inside. So next I'm just going to go back to the center, and I'm just going to compress the bottom and flatten it out. Make sure that it's nice and even. Now I'm going to do my first pull. So I formed a ring here. As you can see, there's kind of a ring that I'm getting under. And I'm going to pull that ring up. Stop near the top because I want to leave a little bit of material at the lip where I'm going to form a little ledge for my lid. So I don't want to follow all the way through. So I'm going to do one more pull. So when I do the pull now, I'm going to dribble some water down my finger right onto the side of the wall inside. So that way I'm not just dumping water inside of the pot. Start all the way again at the bottom. I try to brace my 2 hands together whenever possible. I'm going to bring up that second pull. And again, I'm going to kind of stop short of the top because I want to form a little ledge for my pot. My pot's a lid. So I'm going to do that now. It's just probably left a little bit less than I should have even. I think we'll be able to do it here. Okay, so I'm making a little ledge there. All right, so now I'm just going to take my sponge and get out some of the water that's in the bottom. I don't want too much water gathering in the base. And then I'm going to shape it a little bit. Stick my hand down in here. Just get a little bit of shape on this form. One more pass there. Okay. So now what I want to do is I'm going to take my wooden knife and I'm going to hold my wooden knife firmly, and I want to cut away some of this material at the bottom that I'm not going to be able to pull up. And when I do that, I want this part of the blade to stay against the body of the pot as I go down. I don't want it to start to lean away. That will form rings, and that's not good. So now I'm going to undercut this, and then I can just cut that away. And this can be recycled and reused. I'm just going to do a little bit of an undercut at the base, a little 45-degree angle. It's going to give a little lift, visual lift. And then I'm going to come back with my rib, and I'm going to do a little bit more definition with the rib here, like that. And then now, one last thing, I'm going to come up here, and where my lid is going to sit, I want to dry that surface off and kind of define it a little bit with an edge. Okay? So, now that I've done that, I am going to... Alright, so first, before I take off my pot, I want to do a measurement for my lid. So I'm going to take my caliper here, kind of get that measurement. And then I can use that when I'm making my lid. So now I'm going to undercut it and just make sure my hands are nice and dry. And when I pick it off, I want to get at the very base and from above. So I don't want to distort the lip too much when I pick it off. So move it just like that. Okay. So now I'm going to bring another piece of clay that I'm going to use to make my lid, but I like to throw my lids off the hump, and then I can use that base piece to make my next lidded form. So I'm not too worried about getting the whole piece of clay centered, because I'm just going to use the little top section to make my lid. So I'm only concerned about this area up here near the top. So, you know, this is kind of an eyeballing thing. You have to watch and see what, kind of compare the size to what you've made and determine how big of a piece you really need. But now I'm going to push that down a little bit, get a little bit of a knob going on there, and then what I do is I'll go down in the center of that, well past wherever my lid needs to be. And then I'm gonna pull up to make my knob. So I start to get a little cylinder there that I'm gonna use to create my knob. And then what I'll do is completely close that up. And just bringing it in a little bit at a time until I close that off entirely. Okay? So now we are there. Alright, so now we have like a little round knob in this base here. So next, I'm going to start to pull that sideways a bit to make my lid. So now I am kind of eyeballing this, and what I want to do is kind of bring my calipers over here, take a look. I can use a second set of calipers if you're doing, depending on the shape you're doing. I can come here and kind of, let's see, set this here and set my size, my caliper. Okay, so I need to pull this out a little bit more. Hopefully we'll have enough clay here. I might have shorted myself a little bit on that. let's see. I think it's close enough. It's good to try to make your lids fit as well as possible. I'm going to come under here and just make a little line, because I want to be able to cut it off evenly. And then I'm also going to dry underneath here with the rib. I'm just going to run that along there, and it dries it off a bit, and this edge as well. And then I want to make this kind of a little more defined and domed up a little bit, so I'm going to come back here and kind of create a line there. Okay, this is not as great as I would like it to be, but I can always mess with it later. I can do this kind of thing. Make a shape in there. Okay. All right, I'm not in love with this lid, but just for the sake of demonstration, I'm gonna cut this off. Like that. And now I'm just gonna, make my hand is clean, pick this off. Like that. You can see that's there, but we'll trim that later. And then I just come here, put that right on like that. And then later we can fix that up. Okay? So that's how you can make a lid. Again, that's not my favorite lid in the world, but I think it'll do for the sake of demonstration. All right, thanks.